families. So I'm on my way to my third appointment this week, and you might notice I'm all citified. Did my hair, done my hair up and everything, showered and everything, heading to a doctor's appointment. And I'm gonna share my week with you. This is gonna be a video jam-packed with information and just stuff to keep in mind if you're thinking about RV life, if you're curious about RV life. It's been a logistical nightmare for me of a week. Just, you know, I'm not complaining. I just wanna jam-pack this video of the story of my week and everything that it took in order to do the things that I needed to do this week. So stay tuned. I'm gonna pull over and I'm gonna finish the story. Check out my truck.
There ain't nobody gonna do it for you. Got to mind your own.
Good morning. Well, I didn't get around to shooting the rest of the video yesterday. I was going to pull over, but it was a busy day between doctor's appointments and just more running around getting things done. And my friend Christy is with me, so we went and got some vegan food. We got some, what else did we do? We went and did a drive. So, yeah, so the day got away from me. So I'm just going to sit here this morning in the hotel and tell you the story that I wanted to tell you. So, had to get a lot of stuff done. You know, this time of year is really where a lot of the nomads who go down to the desert kind of just don't do as much traveling. We do most of our traveling in the summer. And so that's definitely been true for me, especially in light of my illnesses that I've been talking about in other videos, valley fever, Sadie's valley fever. So this week, I wanted to take my RV in to get it checked out, just kind of a general inspection, and I had a sneaking suspicion I needed new shocks, and it's just been the shimming in the steering wheel and no bounce, you know, clunk in it. I mean, it's 100,000 miles on it, and it never got new shocks. So I had a feeling it needed new shocks. So I made an appointment with a truck auto repair guy, a truck repair guy, does diesel and everything, and took it in and told him, you know, just kind of check everything. I want a general inspection before I do my travels. I haven't done anything like that in a while. I've just been kind of doing routine maintenance. And so I made an appointment to drop it off, and I decided that while the rig was in the shop, get a hotel room. I scheduled all my doctor's appointments the same week, so it's been a busy week. So I'm going to share with you, though, the logistics of doing all that, because boy, it really pushed my limits of organization. And this is just important news and important information for anybody who might be on the road or thinking about getting on the road. So the first thing is, what do you do while your RV is in the shop? So it's Thursday right now. I dropped it off on Monday. It's been in the shop for 3 days so far. So this is all the planning I had to do. Drop off the RV. Where am I going to stay? How am I going to get around to my doctor's appointments? What am I going to do with Sadie while I'm at the doctor's appointments? Let me shut this window. It's noisy out there. What am I going to do with Sadie while I'm in the doctor's appointments? Because it's not that hot yet. But leaving Sadie in a car versus an RV, two totally different things. I didn't want to leave her in a car for up to an hour or maybe longer. Actually, my root canal was 2 hours I was in, I think. And I didn't want to do that. So I started looking around for doggy daycare. I was like, I'll just put her in doggy daycare. And this was like a week. I'm a procrastinator. It was like a week and a half when I started really planning everything. Once I started getting all my appointments settled and my RV appointments scheduled. So I was looking at doggy daycare places in the area. And I looked at the websites of 2 of them. They all required dog influenza, which I didn't get done in Arizona when she went through all the valley fever stuff, because the dog influenza requires a 2-week booster, and I didn't know where I was going to be in 2 weeks. So I said, no, I'll wait till we get to our regular vet. So there was no way a week out I could get her the influenza in time. So the good news is I found another source called Rover, which is independent people who live in houses. They're just people who offer to pet sit for you. And I did find somebody who was going to take Sadie. They wanted to do a meet and greet. And then I said, well, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to need you to watch her for a few hours. And that would mean leaving the hotel in the morning before the appointments, going and dropping her off, coming back to the appointment. I mean, just a lot of back and forth and dropping off Sadie and worrying about Sadie. And so that was a lot. So, but I did find somebody through rover.com. I'll I'll put it down here to verify. And that was going to work out great. And then my friend Christy and I started talking, and she was just like, you know, I'm not doing anything. If you want me to come down, I'd be happy to fly down and watch Sadie for you. And I was like, I already have the hotel room. I already booked a room with 2 queen beds, so why not? So she came down, which has been really, really, really helpful. And, you know, that's less running around I have to do. I can just leave her here. She goes for walks and explores the area with Sadie, and so that's worked out really, really well. And but yeah, if you have a dog, if you're traveling on the road with a dog, just keep that in mind. Make sure if you're thinking about dog daycare other than Rover, you know, Rover is just independent people. It's kind of like Airbnb for dog sitting. And there's reviews, and you can see what people have said about them before. So it's really good, and I will use it in the future. But if you're going to be boarding your dog or anything, get your dog the flu shot, the dog influenza shot, and so that you're prepared for just about anything, grooming or boarding or anything. So there was that. And then yeah, I had a root canal, and then, so what I did, the other part of this is what I did is I looked for where I was dropping off my RV, and I looked for a rental car near the RV place. And I ended up finding, so my hotel is about 10 miles from where I dropped off the RV, and I found a rental car place just a mile from where I dropped off the RV. So I came in Sunday, got into the hotel. Actually, I picked Christy up at the airport, booked the hotel was booked, so we checked in Sunday night in the hotel. I got up early Monday morning, dropped off my rig. Christy and Sadie stayed here. I was gonna have to, if Christy didn't come, I was gonna have to get up early, go drop Sadie off at the pet sitters, go drop off the RV, go pick up the car, go pick up Sadie, and because the car places say the only way you can have a dog in the car is in a crate. I'm like, I don't have a crate. I'm not buying a crate. So I didn't want to go take Sadie with me to pick up the car. And, you know, I'm cleaning it out and everything and vacuuming it. I mean, there's no sign that Sadie was in the car at all. So what I did is left Sadie and Christy here, and I went and dropped off my RV, and the car place was just a mile away. So I was able to drop off the RV, walk to the rental place to pick up the car, and then come back here. And then I had the car to go do my appointments, my doctor's appointments, my vet appointments, my dentist appointment. And that was also really helpful because with a car, I didn't have to look on Google Maps ahead of time to see if there was going to be parking for my RV. I think I had already done that because I didn't know what my plan was going to be. But that's another consideration if you're going to be in town, if you need to do doctor's appointments, if you have a bigger rig, and mine is only 24 feet, but you always have to look to see if there's parking for RVs. Medical offices in big cities sometimes have, where I went yesterday for my doctor's appointment, I don't know that I would have been able to find parking in the RV. It was a tiny parking lot, and there wasn't any street parking. So it's just a lot to think about. It's a lot to consider. And I just wanted to share with you my process and how I did it, so that when you're faced with dealing with stuff like this, if you're not staying in an RV park in town, this is one way to do it. And it ended up working out. It's a lot. I'm done. I'm ready to go back into the desert and just hide for a while. I've done a lot of peopling. Chrissy is very extroverted. I've been, my extrovert has been out, but I'm ready to get back, being in a city and doing a lot and talking to a lot of people and going to restaurants, and safely, of course, very safely. Things are opening back up, but with the mask and everything. And so the RV, you might be curious about the RV. I ended up needing super duty, heavy duty shocks on all four. All four of them needed to be replaced. I needed front brakes. I needed all new tires because the shocks and the shimmying just completely ruined my tires, but they were a couple years old anyway, and it made sense just to replace. I might have had 1 or 2 good tires, and I just like, let's just go ahead and start. He recommended 6 new tires. I get the heavy duty ones, the 10 ply or whatever, so that they do better like on rocky surfaces and in the desert. So I got 6 new tires, front brakes, 4 new shocks. They had new rotors, They had to re-grease the bearings, tune up. They fixed my doghouse. Tune up is also, they replaced the spark plugs. Any guesses how much it cost? And I know you're all going to say it's too much. Many of you are going to be like, you could have gotten it done cheaper. Here's my thing. I'm not going to, you heard everything that I had to do this week and the logistics of getting something closer to a hotel and close to a rental car place and somebody that can work on the RV. It's not easy to find people to work on the RV. So you know what? Yes, I probably could have gotten it cheaper, but my time is valuable. I mean, my time is worth a lot. So I value convenience in the equation, not just money. So it costs $4,000, $4,100. So when I talk about a $5,000 emergency fund, that's it right there, $4,000. It's maintenance. I'm feeling really good about it. I'm happy that it's getting done, and I can't wait to drive it. It's going to be like driving on a cloud. I mean, it's been bad. It has been really bad. You can really feel it's got no absorption of, no shock absorption at all. It rattles constantly. The steering wheel is shimmering. So it's going to be good. I can't wait. I'm excited about getting it back. We're going to go get it in a little while here and drop off the rental car. And so just, how much money have you guys seen me spend in the last month or two between Sadie, now the RV? Sadie had to go to the vet again yesterday for her follow-up on valley fever. That was another $400. And we don't even want to talk about my dental work. Root canal. I had to have oral surgery because a root canal had to be redone, and then I have to go back and get a crown. So it's been an expensive week, and this is just reality of life and life on the road. I mean, if you live in a house and something breaks and you need to get it repaired, $4,000, it is what it is. And this is why I just wanted to share this with you again, because this is why it is important to have an emergency fund. If you don't have an emergency fund, what would you do? You have to have an emergency fund. Sure, the $4,000 is a little more expensive in an RV than maybe if you were in a car or even a van, but you can see how easy it is in one shot just to wipe out $4,000 or $5,000. So that is it. Living in an RV, I've said this a million times. I like living in an RV because I think that for me, Sticks and Bricks life is just kind of too simple, kind of like too autopilot. And I like the challenges of living on the road. And everything does take more time. Everything does take more planning, especially this week. I can't just jump in the car and go to the doctor's appointment and leave the dog in the backyard. I had to make plans for Sadie. I had to rent a hotel and then on top of that, the hotel room for a week. So, things add up, and it's just not, it's not inexpensive, and it's not easy to just say, yeah, I'm going to have a week of doctor's appointments in an RV. So I've been sharing my health issues with you, my health challenges with you over the last couple of months. And if you have ongoing health challenges and you think you might ever be in a situation where you're going to have to be in one place to go get tests done, to see multiple doctors, and you're living in an RV or you're living in a van and you have a pet, you might want to think about the logistics. How is that going to work? How are you going to manage that? If you are pretty much just in one area most of the time, you might want to get established with dog daycare or with a pet sitter on rover.com. You might want to make sure your pet is up to date on all their shots and they have all the extra things that they're requiring. It used to be just rabies. Now it's like, yeah, no, they need flu too. So there's a lot to plan. There's a lot to manage. And I share this just in full disclosure, in good faith, just wanting to teach and inform you. I think that's all I wanted to share. Seems like when it was rolling around in my head, it seemed a lot worse, a lot harder, a lot more challenging than it did when I just said it out loud. But I think that's it. Just another reality of RV life and, in another hotel. And I got to tell you, I'm grinding at the bit. Is that the right phrase? To get back. It's hard. First couple days are kind of fun and everything, and now it's just like, I want to get back in the forest. I want to go. You have to have an emergency fund. You have to be prepared for everything, especially if you're traveling with a pet. Just especially if you don't have a pet and you're thinking about getting a pet, you really need to think about all the challenges that's going to bring. You know, living in a van is even harder because a van does heat up like a car. So it's going to be a lot harder to live with a dog or even a cat than it is in an RV. And it's going to cost more money. It's going to take more time. It's going to take more planning. So just a lot to think about. And Sadie's doing all right. We're waiting on her test results to come back. She had a liver test and she had the second valley fever titer, which is going to show her levels of valley fever. And we should get her liver results back today. And the liver test is because the fluconazole that she's on for the valley fever is really taxing on the liver. So we're going to make sure she's okay. The vet said she did hear a little bit in her lungs. She said it's not bad. She just heard a little bit. And when she pressed on her trachea, she coughed a little too easily, I guess. I had a root canal. It hurt like hell yesterday. I got it 2 days ago. It hurt like hell yesterday. It's feeling okay today. And then the next step is a new crown. They just left the old one in and drilled a hole in it. It's awful. I hate the dentist. I'm super nervous. I hate the dentist. I don't want to get a root canal. How many of you love the dentist? Nobody, ever. You know, if you think about how barbaric it is, they're crunching and shooting and drilling in your mouth with your eyes open while you're wide awake. It's really stupid. There's got to be an easier way. And, you know, just other than that, it was just kind of like annual exams. And I'm still trying to find, I just found a new primary care doctor. I've been having a really hard time finding a new primary care doctor. My other one left. And yesterday, the doctor I went to yesterday was like a group, a medical group. And they were able to recommend a primary care. So that's still 2 weeks away, another primary care appointment. So it's a lot, you know, and that means you got to plan on sticking around in one place sometimes for a little longer than you want to, but I'm hoping by mid-April I can be on the road and on my next adventures. So, all right, hope you found that helpful, and I hope you're all doing well, and thanks for hanging with me. I will see you next time. In the meantime, be happy, be free, and be kind. See you soon.